Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboy Sports Report. It is June 2nd, Friday night, 10:20 Central Time, my time, 10:20 p.m. Central Time, my time. Before I get into any of this, guys, if you're watching, if you tuned in, please hit that red subscribe button. It is free. It costs you nothing, but it is an investment. It's an investment on your part. Because once I reach 1,000 by week 1 this season, that is my goal. My channel, my show will morph into something super special, and you will be glad you hit that red button. It is free. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be putting back into the channel with a microphone, studio equipment, a nice desktop just for this, so I can have film and graphics, and actually point out certain things that I'm trying to say, opposed to just, trying to break it down with my voice. Just my Galaxy and I right now, I'm at like 320. I can get to 1,000 by week 1, September 10th, with y'all's help. Cowboy Nation. We're all brothers and sisters in the same cause. We all bleed the same blood, blue and silver. Show our brothers some love. Please hit that red subscribe button. I've been a fan since Super Bowl 28. I was 6 years old. First Cowboy game I ever watched, and I fell in love with it. Fell in love with the Cowboys, playing Buffalo at the Georgia Dome, down 13-6 at halftime. So one of my first prayers ever said that we could make a win, came back a win 30-13. I thought we won because of my prayer. So I have a joke that the Cowboys led me to Christ. And since the 94 season on, I've seen just about every play of every game, for real, and played my entire youth. So you're getting top-notch quality up here, and then whenever I can reach that 1,000 benchmark, my channel will grow exponentially after that, and I will be able to get the bells and whistles to really, really make this entertaining. And you will be entertained, I guarantee you. And I will have a call-in line, just like Law does. I think he's the only other one that does. And, so fans can call in and vent and voice their opinion and whatnot. We all like to be heard. So I'm going to jump into this. 4 topics. First topic, with this new West Coast offense that Mike McCarthy and Brian Shoddy will be heading up. Well, Dak, who's 29 right now, will be 30 before the season starts or during the season. Well, you finally start using his legs. His legs are a weapon that could give this offense another bullet in the gun and change the way the defense guards this offense. If Dak would have used his legs against the Niners after Pollard went down, we would have won that game. But Mike McCarthy, Brian Shoddy, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, even Dan Quinn needs to set him down and say, Dak, we know what you can do. We've got a large sample size for 2016 and now of what you can do. We know what you are. You're not a prolific passer. You're not a Joe Burrow. You're not a Mahomes. You're not Aaron Rodgers. You're not a Peyton Manning. But you are a top-notch game manager. You're a top-notch, what's a good pair to a top-notch game manager. You're like a very good young Tom Brady back in 01, 03, and 04. Where all Brady did was let his defense do what they do, let the run game do what it does, and just make his throws whenever he needed to. And whenever nobody was open, he didn't force the ball into coverage. He would throw the ball away, or he would, as slow as he is, he'd scramble 2 or 3 yards and live to see another down, opposed to trying to threading a needle that very few guys can thread, especially at that stage in his career. He wasn't at that level yet. And he just played smart football, game management football. And our roster mimics that of the 01, 03, 04 Patriots roster, whereas an excellent defense, excellent special teams, a good run setup, and better receivers across the board. I mean, Brady didn't really have much to throw to, David Givens, Troy Brown. But yeah, set him down and just, so I think with his new quote that he said recently, he said, this new offense, after he talked about the language being the same and this and that guys get to their spot faster, cleaner, which allows them, when that play is not there, to go into scrambling mode and create a play that just allows that when the first read and second read are not there, for everyone to be on the same page for the scramble drill. That's what I'm talking about. Instead of sitting in the pocket when it's starting to collapse and your first two reads aren't there and you go into your third and fourth read and then you try to go back to your first. If you got a lane to run through it. You're not a small man, Prescott. Use your legs. Run at least 4 times a game. Not like Jalen Hurts where he's averaging 20 carries a game. Because no quarterback can sustain that. Later in the season, he got beat up. And if we wouldn't have blown those 2 leads, that Christmas Eve game would have been for all the marbles. And they would have had to play Jalen Hurts. And he would have risked blowing out his shoulder. So they actually might not have played him. They might have just kept the mustache in there in that Christmas Eve game. But being that we blew those 2 leads, they had the luxury of sitting Hurts. But towards the end of the season, it was starting to catch up to him. If 4 or 5 times a game, Dak will take off and slide when nobody's there and the lane is open, that will change the complexion of the game and the complexion of the way the defense guards us. I've been yelling about this for the last 5 seasons. Dak, run! Against San Fran, that second pick before halftime. 5 wide on a 2nd and 2. Everybody's covered. They're playing man coverage. Everybody's back is to Dak. He's got a 4 or 5 yard lane up the middle that he could take off. He's at the 18. He could take off up the middle, probably get inside the 10, probably get inside the 5 maybe. And then from there on, probably just give it to Zeke 4 times and let him get in the end zone. So if Prescott will use his legs more this season, that is a humongous plus. Point number 2, we are now officially 3rd in the league in cap room. Some people say we have 20 million. Some people say we have 24.130 million. 24,130,000. Freed up in cap space now since it's past June 1st. The 10.9 Zeke money is in. With a roster as stacked as we have it, to have that much money available, that has Super Bowl written all over it. That says go out and get one more big splash player that will solidify your team and essentially turn it into the all-star team that the Eagles had last year. The Eagles signed everybody, they Mama, Tupac, and Biggie last season. And right before the season started, they brought on James Bradbury and traded for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for a 3rd-round pick and just solidified that secondary with those 2 moves. So it is June 2nd, June, July, August, 3 months. Let's see what we do with this $24.13 million in the next 3 months. We need to make a play or a few plays. These free agents out there right now are not high-priced guys. But they can be impact guys, especially for what we need. 3rd topic, offensive line. What the Joneses want is their hope is the starting 5, Tyron Smith, left tackle, 77, veteran. Tyler Smith, kick in the left guard, as y'all all heard. Tyler Biadasz at center, Zach Martin at right guard, and Terrence Steele at right tackle, presuming he is ready week 1. And Terrence Steele, quote, recently said a couple days ago, the strength is there, my quad muscle is there, pass sets feel good, run sets feel good. The doc said he hasn't seen someone my size recover as fast as I have been recovering. And we all know the Cowboys employ the best doctors in the world. Just about, they really do. Jerry Jones spares no expense when it comes to his medical staff. And or if they go out of the star for, somebody that's not employed under the Cowboys, it is the number one guy in his profession, depending on the injury. So, as of right now, being that Steele is not ready to play, the lineup right now is left tackle, Tyler Smith, left guard, Matt Farniak, center, Tyler Biadasz, right guard, Zach Martin, right tackle, Tyron Smith. And at left guard, we have Matt Farniak, Chuma Aduga, Asim Richards. And TJ Bass and Josh Ball also going to try to battle it out. The Cowboys have this idea that they want a battle for the left guard spot. They want it to be battled out. With these 5 names I have presented to you, probably a few more guys they might bring in off the street. I love Ty Smith. Last time he played right tackle before last year was his rookie season in 2010. No, 2011. And at USC, he played right tackle. Last year, whenever he was healthy, as soon as Steele went down, which was like perfect timing, Tyron Smith at right tackle last season, 401 snaps. 401 snaps. He allowed 1 sack, 3 hits, 12 hurries. His run grade was a 54.5. Terrence Steele at right tackle, 818 snaps, about twice as many. Allowed 1 sack. As to Tyron Smith's 1 sack. Allowed 4 hits to Tyron Smith's 3 hits. Reminding now that this is twice as many snaps as Tyron Smith. He allowed 15 hurries compared to Tyron Smith's 12 hurries. And his run grade was at 82.1. And y'all realized all season last year, while Steele was healthy, the right side of our line was so powerful. And we could run off that right side and just run at will just about. Because Zach Martin and Terrence Steele, they have been playing together for a good amount of time now. They have continuity, and they know what each other's going to do. And Terrence Steele is ascending from 2020 to 2021, the last season. He is ascending at a very high altitude very quickly to where I think he could be an all-pro right tackle. He'll be the next Big E, Eric Williams. I said that last season. Law Nation told me to kind of pump the brakes there. Big E ain't just nobody. But Terrence Steele, as vicious as he is, as nasty as he is, that man can move some bodies. And when he went down with a tear, and Tyron Smith, thank God Tyron didn't just give up and retire. Everybody thought he would never play again. Hamstring coming off the bone. He rehabs considerably hard and is back healthy right on time to plug in that right tackle spot. When he does that, the run game is not the same, especially on the right side. Look at the run game when Terrence Steele was healthy, and then look at, yards per game on the ground when Steele was out and Smith was at right tackle. I 100% disagree with the way that they're going about this starting 5, this lineup. It's all... It's great and all to have competition in camp. Who could be the best left guard? Hopefully somebody emerges and shines. But when you're this close, and you got this roster that can get you to February, why play games with it? When you have $24.13 million in cap space. Blows my mind. I do not think that, say, after the first week of training camp, this will be the case with the offensive line. I would love Asim Richards. Like I said, I've said it many times. I would love the rookie Asim Richards to just, he can flex to left guard. He was left tackle in North Carolina. I would love for him to be at left guard and just shine and just be awesome with his long arms and his low center of gravity in a way that, he can seal off his block. And he is very agile and athletic and he can pull. I would love that. But this season, I'm not willing to chance it. Which brings me to my fourth point. The free agents that are still out there right now. Start with running backs. You got Zeke Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, Darrell Henderson, and Kenyon Drake. The two out of that list, I like. Zeke, of course, I've been advocating for Zeke to get re-signed by the Cowboys. Kenyon Drake, the last 4 seasons, has averaged from 4 yards a carry to 4.8 yards a carry the last 4 years. He don't look like he's washed. He looks like he's got something left in the tank there. If Elliott signs elsewhere or they just have no intention of bringing him back, bring in Kenyon Drake for a cup of coffee. Look at his stats for the last 4 seasons. They're not bad. They're almost, you could say, above average, maybe a little bit impressive. Especially being that he didn't get a ton of carries each season. In 2021, he only got like 67 carries or something like that, and he averaged 4 yards a carry. But no less than 4 yards the last 4 seasons. At wide receiver, the top 4 guys available are T.Y., Jarvis Landry, Julio Jones, and Kenny Golladay. Question I got is, Kenny Golladay went to the Giants on a big deal. They paid him handsomely, and he flopped. Was it because Daniel Jones couldn't get him the ball the way he was accustomed to? Was it that he didn't play well in New York? Was he just not clicking with the team? Could he still be as good as he was when the Giants paid a ransom for him? Being that he showed unimpressive play last few years, he might be a guy that you could bring in for a cup of coffee and sign for a real cheap vet minimum 1-year deal and possibly get a top flight wide receiver 4 out of. Sometimes a player can go to another destination and all of a sudden be a whole different guy. Kenny Golladay coming to the Star, that could just reignite his career. You never know, because he was once highly touted not too long ago as a top receiver. He goes to the Giants and dies. His quarterback play was not the best. Bring him in for a cup of coffee. Work him out. And if he's willing to sign for a vet minimum deal, why not do it? If you can get Kenny Golladay as your receiver number 4, and he can show shades of what he was before you went to the Giants, kind of like Randy Moss going to the Raiders for 2 years, just disappears, and he goes to New England and resurrects his career. And he was old then; he was mid-30s. Just an idea of mine. At kicker, Brett Maher, who is the best, I think, out of the free agent list right now. Robbie Gould, who has big question marks about his leg strength. Mason Crosby, who was up and down all season last year, as was Ryan Suckup. And Nick Folk might get cut by the Patriots pretty soon, being that they took a kicker early in the draft. I would just re-sign Brett Money Maher. He had one freak-out game in Tampa. It did not hurt us. That is the key. It's one thing if a kicker blows a playoff game, but he didn't. We dominated that game. So if he was going to have one freak-out game, perfect game to have it in. He goes to San Fran in the divisional round. First extra point gets blocked. Then he has 2 field goal attempts, and he nails them both. Go sign Brett. Say, and you can use that Tampa game against them. Say, we're taking a chance on you. Don't prove us wrong. If you show good this year, you can get some good money next year. And sign him for like $750K for 1 year. That's beautiful. Beautiful for a kicker who could possibly make All Pro next year. He was 29 of 32 last season. And 2 of his misses were from 50 plus, 140 plus. It's pretty good, pretty damn good last season. Linebackers. You got Miles Jack, Rashawn Evans, Deion Jones at Cunningham. If the Wolf Hunter were to get hurt, you got Damone Clark stepping up into linebacker number 1. Then you got unprovens, DeMarvion Overshawn, Jabril Cox, Micah Parsons probably, if needed, play more linebacker. But Deion Jones would not be a bad, break class in case of emergency linebacker pickup, being that he's got a lot of rapport with Dan Quinn. If said 55 were to go down for a little bit. And last but not least, the most important, offensive guards. 3 of them right now. Dalton Reisner, who has been above average since he was drafted. I know he had some questionable, things he did last season, pushing the backup quarterback on the sideline during the game, but Denver was just a dumpster fire last year. Everybody was miserable. It gave Seattle a top 5 pick. That's how bad they were. Trey Turner, who's really not that good, but I would say better than Farniak, Chuma, and probably Richards as a rookie. And then Andrew Norwell, who is scheduled to be released by Washington, pending that he passes a medical exam on the right elbow that has been bothering him last season. A few years ago, left guard Andrew Norwell was the highest paid guard in the league. Now, Washington thinks that he is gassed up and done, that he ain't got nothing left in the tank. The man, multiple Pro Bowl player, made a couple All-Pros. He's another guy. Him and Reisner, bring them both in for a cup of coffee. Check him out. Work him out. After Washington releases Norwell, when they find out his elbow's good to go. If Andrew Norwell can punch out 1 or 2 good more seasons, play at least 75% of the level that he was playing when he was at the top of his game, he would be perfect to plug in that left guard spot. Andrew Norwell, that would be a gift from God. Especially if he could stay healthy, which, he really hasn't had any trouble staying healthy, except for last season with his right elbow. But that seems to be all fine and dandy now. If he passes, his medical exam and can be released, he'll be a free agent. You can bring him on for $3-4 million. Same with Reisner. Either one of those 2 guys solidifies the offensive line. And if you do that, then the top 5, just say Terrence Steele is not ready week 1. I would feel much better having the starting 5 week 1 if Terrence Steele is not ready, being Tyler Smith, Dalton Reisner, and or Andrew Norwell, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith. And then whenever Steele is ready to roll, put 77, who has a $3 million base salary, Tyron Smith is not a $17 million guy no more. $3 million base salary is what it is after the restructure. Everything else is all incentives. Steele back at right tackle whenever he's ready. Hopefully he's ready by week 1. And Tyron Smith as your swing tackle. Championship teams have not just great starters, but great depth. We have great depth all throughout the defensive side of the ball. We have great depth in the secondary, great depth on the D-line. Only linebacker is the area that we don't have great depth. That's why we bring up the names of Deion Jones, Miles Jack, guys that we could probably, bring in. We'll see. Maybe DeMarvion Overshawn shines as a rookie. We don't know. But the Wolf Hunter's been healthy, and Damone Clark looks like he could probably surpass him this season. So depth is the name of the game. And if your starting 5 is Tyler Smith, I'm going to say Dalton Reisner because he'd probably be easier to get. Not much of injury concern. Tyler Smith, Dalton Reisner, Biadash, who's playing better and going into a contract year, he's going to ball his ass off because after this season, we'll probably let him walk and draft another center in the draft as we did the last 2 left guards. Martin and Steele, that is a front 5 that will move bodies. And even if it's not Reiser and it's Norwell, same thing. A front 5 that will move bodies. And that right side of the line will move bodies. So will the left. And at running back, Elliott, Lenny, Hunt, Zeke and Drake, like I said, I would prefer. It's funny because Daryl Henderson was drafted in 2019. And I think the second round, he was Memphis' number 1 back. Tony Pollard was Memphis' number 2 back. So if you signed Daryl Henderson, you would have the 2 starting Memphis backs. He was a more physical, ground-and-pound type guy. I don't know how good his pass pro is. I know he played well for 2 seasons with the Rams. He played out his 4-year contract with them. Now he's a free agent. He didn't do as good as Pollard did, but he played good in that 21 Super Bowl season. Elliott, Tom Downey seems to think there's a 1% chance of bringing Zeke Elliott back. With Tony Pollard saying that he feels faster after the injury. In OTA saying that he feels faster. And in OTAs, he's already making sharp cuts, jukes, looking like he ain't missed a step. And saying that he feels faster. That should scare teams. If we have the speed back, Tony Pollard. I haven't even heard what LaDainian Tomlinson has said about Deuce Vaughn because I already know what it is. As I said in my last video, he played in San Diego with Darren Sproles. Sproles was running back number 2. He saw how dynamic Sproles was at 5'6". He sees Deuce Vaughn just an inch smaller, but built tougher and just as shifty and quick as Sproles was. That's why he's cutting for him, saying he's going to be the real deal. He looks like Darren Sproles' son. He might want to get a DNA match. I don't know, but in the backfield, if you get that speed back and Pollard, that home run hitter, that jitterbug, and Deuce Vaughn, and you bring back Elliott, that power back, to get you that 3rd and 4th and 1, to get you that tough 3-yard run that can pass protect like no other back in this league, and in the fourth quarter can grind out games. That is a 3-headed monster backfield that Philly wished they had. If you bring back Elliott. Elliott had 230 carries last season. He was running back 1. He had 230 carries last season. He got worn down towards the end of the year. His first 13 games, he's playing very well. Like I said, averaging 4.2 yards a carry, 10 touchdowns. The first 15 weeks of the season, he missed 2 games. He played 13. He missed the Green Bay game. If he doesn't miss a Green Bay game, we don't lose that game because he would have salted it away in the fourth quarter because we were running the ball at will. Tony Pollard, it was gassed. He is a 15-carry back. I think Tony Pollard could be our most explosive player this season. I think he could get 1,000 rushing and receiving. I think only 2 backs have done that. I know Marshall Faulk is one of them. All he's got to do is average 60 rushing and receiving per game to reach that milestone. But I think Pollard could get 1,000 rushing and receiving this season. But if you bring Elliott back into the fold, you have a 3-headed monster in the backfield, a back for every occasion. And they can also do multiple things. Go look at the game replays from week 2 to week 8 when we play Cincinnati, when we play the Giants, Washington, the Rams, Philly, and then against Detroit. He didn't play against Chicago or Green Bay, and then Minnesota. Look at those game highlights on YouTube, and look at what Elliott does. He's still on a 3rd and 12. They give him a tall sweep. He gets 15. He can still get those long yards too, even though he's a power back. He's just not worth $19 million. He's worth $4 or $5 million, I think. 1-year deal, $4 million. Give him another 3 in incentives he has to reach to get said extra whatever is on the contract. But yeah. And one more thing. We are the 3rd youngest team in the league. Last season, our roster's average age was 25.2 years old. That's why I say we could push all the chips in the center of the table this season and we would not be selling the farm. We have youth, and year in and year out, we bring in a whole new batch of talent. Last season, we brought in a whole new batch of talent. This season, we have brought in a whole new batch of talent again. 6th-round pick corner Eric Scott Jr. is looking really good so far in OTAs. I think we drafted him to succeed Gilmore once Gilmore is gone. Gilmore will be here 1 or 2 seasons. After that, he'll probably hang up his cleats. He wants one more ring. And I believe that he will get that ring here in Dallas. Bringing in players that have won Super Bowls and been to Super Bowls. Cooks have been to 2. In back-to-back seasons. 2017 with the Patriots. 2018 with the Rams. If he didn't get a concussion in the first quarter in 2017 season when the Patriots played the Eagles, Patriots probably beat the Eagles because he was their number 1 receiver. But he got a concussion in the first quarter and was out for the whole game. Championship moves. And this defense will be one of the best single-season defenses of all time. It will get a nickname. Like I said, it breaks up into 2 tiers. You have the top tier. Only 3 defenses fall into that category. You can say maybe 4. The Steel Curtain of the 70s. Just pick the best defensive season they had in the 70s. The Steel Curtain. 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens. That is tier number 1 of the best single-season defenses ever. And you might be able to add in 1 year of the Cowboys' Doomsday defense. 72 or 78. And then you got the second tier. Best single-season defenses of all time. 02 Bucks. Defensive-led championship. 13 Seahawks. Defensive-led championship. 15 Broncos. Defensive-led championship. And honorable mention, the 99 Bucks defense. Defensive-led to the NFC Championship game. Went to the greatest show on turf. The game was 7-6 with like 1:43 left to go in the fourth quarter. Tampa is up by 1. They are holding the greatest show on turf to 2 field goals. and Kurt Warner hits Ricky Frohl on a crazy fade in the back of the end zone somehow. He holds onto the ball, and the Rams go up 13-7 and take down Tampa Bay. It was 13-7, or it was yeah. I think it was 30. Anyways, honorable mention was the 99 Bucks defense. I think the 99 Bucks defense was better than the 02 Bucks defense. The 02 Bucks had a better offense, way better offense than the 99 Bucks. Keyshawn Johnson, Keenan McCardell, Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson. Trent Dilfer was very Brad Johnson. In 99, they really had no offense. So, 2023, I think the Cowboys defense is good enough to be a single season, second tier defense, defensive led Super Bowl team with an offense that's very good to complement it, and special teams that is just as good. The last 2 seasons, we've had 5 blocks on special teams, 5 blocks. And Pro Bowl, all-pro punter, a good kicking game, and we have found a great return man, Kevontae Turpin. Even though the new rule says on a kickoff, if it's kicked off beyond the 25, you can fair catch it at the 1 and the ball go to the 25. I think Bones might say, hey, Kevontae, I see a little weakness on here or there. If the ball comes to the 10 or the 15, if it's a shallow kick, take it. If it comes to the 5, take it. Kevontae won't be taking fair catches every single time. He's too good for that. And being that he has rest this offseason, not playing back-to-back years like last year, USFL in the NFL, he should have that extra split-second burst that he didn't have last season to turn those punt returns that were so close into touchdowns this season. This guys, I've been watching this team so long. 3rd grade, 1995. This is the best roster I've seen since I was in the 3rd grade. Since I was in the 3rd grade, y'all. The best roster I've seen since I was in the 3rd grade. 95. We had, at cornerback, we had primetime Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith was a pretty damn good cornerback, but he got hurt early in the season, was out most of the year. But Prime shut down one side of the field, so they helped. And we had, Darren Woodson and Brock Marion at safety. Charles Haley, Leon Lett, Russell Maryland, defensive line from hell, just like we have now. Alpha male number 88, just like we have now. Good running back. Only difference is we had that Great Wall of Dallas offensive line. That's why we got to secure that left guard spot, and we can have something close to that. Because Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, and Tyler Smith are the real deal. Dash, play a damn good center. Plug in a good left guard, we're good to go. And with the money we have, I wouldn't mind trading for a good left guard. Somebody who is maybe on his 3rd year of his rookie contract with a 5th year option available, or maybe somebody on a 2nd contract but still in his mid-20s, and you trade a 2nd round pick. Kelvin Joseph and Neville Gallimore for said player. We can, go out there and trade and get that good left guard. Solidify this team so we can go in a training camp with no question marks. No question marks. And we still have plenty of cap money left over for in case injuries that might happen. God forbid, we'll be able to sign guys to plug and play. Defensive tackles, Double Consu, Linfield Joseph, the 4 linebackers we mentioned, the free agents that we mentioned in general. I think those are the 4 points I wanted to hit on, and the average age of our team. Dak will turn 30 this season. You should be able to play at a high level to like 38. So the next 8 seasons, our window should be open for being in contention every year, especially if we draft as good as we draft every season. Not every year is going to be as good as this year roster-wise, but we're going to be in it every year for the foreseeable future. You can put your money on that. That's it for this episode, guys. Please subscribe, like, and share. I cannot implore that enough, guys. When you hit that red subscribe button, it warms my heart like none other. And I promise you, I give you my word as a man, I will do everything I can to put in the work to make this show interesting, entertaining, and informative at the same time. I take this serious. In my life, it's God, family, Cowboys. In that order. Please subscribe, like, and share. Like Mike Fisher says, you hit the like button. It helps beats algorithms. Basically, gets your video viewed more. Gets it pushed up the list when people type in Dallas Cowboys. On 3, let's everybody hit that like button, please. 1, 2, 3. Hit that like button. If you did it, you're a real one. On 3, if you haven't subscribed yet, guys, and you're still watching, you're a real one. Please hit that red subscribe button on 3, guys. 1, 2, and 3. If you did it, you a real one, and I appreciate you. When I get that call-in line up and running here pretty soon, you're going to love it. I'm telling y'all, I've got something in the works. It's going to be a special show, an awesome show that y'all will not wait to be able to get on and check out. That is my promise to you. I will never give you half-ass shows, half-ass material, be lazy in any way. Anytime I'm on here, I'm going to give you all that I've got and put in the work to do it. That's it for this episode, guys. Put God first and foremost. He comes before everything, even this. Seek Him and His righteousness, and everything in your life will fall into place. Even though I'm going through a valley right now, I'm a living testimony of that. Have a good weekend, guys. School's out for the kids, summertime. Got a 5-year-old and 7-year-old is going to be up in my hair that I really don't have much of for the next few months. But it's all good. It's all good in the hood, baby. Have a good weekend, guys. I love each and every one of y'all. Cowboy Nation, TC for life. I will catch y'all soon on the flip side. Hopefully my next video will be about a big move that we make to solidify the O-line, or just bring in some big-time player that makes our team that much better, to get us that much closer to getting over the hump, to get to Las Vegas in February, where we need to be to go back home. It's time to go back home, guys. TC for life. Charles in Charge is out.